Columbus, the best tornado footage ever shot. Let's react.
It's June 23rd, 1998,
What
and
is
Columbus,
this?
Nebraska farmer Andy Ulmer has just arrived home when he sees
is
this out
crazy.
of his window. Andy quickly got his video camera and began to record the monster as it was coming directly towards his house. Over the course of the next few minutes, he would provide the world with some of the best tornado footage ever shot. It's late June of 1998 and the tornado season is well underway, and it's been a historic one. An extremely active first half of the year has left the US on its heels. A few anomalous events have happened so far, including Florida's deadliest tornado outbreak in history in February, an unseasonably strong tornado outbreak in Minnesota in March, a couple of F5 tornadoes in Alabama and Tennessee in April, and the only ever high-risk severe weather event issued for the Northeast in May.
Is there any instructions how to behave during the tornado? Probably there should be. And looks like the United States has a big tornado problem.
This active trend would continue into June, which brings us to June 23, 1998. Throughout the day, a moderately strong trough had swept across portions of the central US, situating itself over Nebraska. Across the state, temperatures rose into the low and mid-80s. Dew points also rose to nearly 75 degrees, signifying extremely humid air. This warm air mass allowed for a pocket of CAPE with values approaching 4,500 to enter the area. This CAPE, or convective available potential energy, aka fuel for thunderstorms, would significantly aid in what would happen later in the day. As we travel 20,000 feet up from the ground, we find moderately strong 40 to 50 knot winds out of the southwest. However, when we travel back down to just a few thousand feet off the ground, we find what was the real secret sauce to this event. What were measly winds throughout most of the day quickly and suddenly got sent into overdrive mode by what's known as the low-level jet.
Very interesting, but I just don't understand what he's talking about. This is way too complicated in my opinion.
The low-level jet is a near daily occurrence during the spring and summer, when the low-level winds in the atmosphere significantly increase around and after sunset.
Okay.
This is typically caused when the upper levels of the atmosphere cool as the day goes on, which causes a pressure gradient between the cool upper atmosphere and the warm lower atmosphere.
Oh.
This pressure gradient then results in strong winds flowing from the cool air to the warm air. This low-level jet does a couple of things that significantly benefits tornadoes. The first is that the sharp increase in low-level winds significantly increases the amount of shear or spin, which is obviously critical to tornadoes. The other is that the low-level jet can pull much more favorable environmental conditions for tornadoes northwards with it as the evening goes on.
How crazy that USA has a city that name is Bismarck. Bismarck is a Russian counselor that unified Germany.
The low-level jet would prove quintessential on June 23, 1998, as it brought in with it more explosive environmental conditions in from the south, and also evolved what was just average wind shear throughout most of the day into very strong wind shear by the evening. As the day progressed, a dry line developed and spanned a majority of the Central Plains and would serve as the focal point for thunderstorm development. As the environment cooked throughout the afternoon, explosive storm initiation finally occurred just after 6 p.m. local time, and storms moved northeast. As the thunderstorms continued to develop in eastern Nebraska, 3 separate residents who were in the path would unknowingly be some of the only people to document what was about to happen. The main storm of interest developed just barely to the southwest of the city of Columbus, Nebraska, and slowly moved towards town. Just before entering town, the storm put down its first tornado. The tornado, which touched down just to the north of Duncan, was a relatively weak F1 that remained on the ground for just a couple of miles. After lifting, the city of Columbus looked to be staring straight down the barrel of another tornado, with the supercell reorganizing and heading towards town. All residents could do, though, was just hold their breath and hope. Luckily, though, and even though the storm was spinning like a top, it passed over town without producing. Just as the storm is exiting the Columbus city limits, Kent Sunderman, who is just north of town, begins to record.
Looks scary. How long does the tornado season
Amazingly,
last?
just 3 miles after passing through town, the storm put down its next tornado, which is initially just an uncondensed bowl with slight ground circulation. Kent records the tornado as it makes a few unsuccessful attempts at fully condensing, when he then realizes that the storm has produced another tornado to the south.
Wow.
This
So there can be multiple tornadoes in one location? That's kind of scary perspective if you think about it. And another thing, you cannot control them. They do whatever they want to do. Man, tornadoes.
satellite tornado is another relatively weak F1 and is also moving northeast. Just a few minutes later, the first tornado would try another attempt at fully condensing, and this one would prove successful. Spectacularly, the tornado goes from a barely visible funnel to a large stovepipe tornado in just the matter of seconds.
Oh no, it's hitting the ground. Oh man, I hope somebody doesn't get hurt over there.
I feel the pain and I feel how anxious this person is because he knows the tornado can cause a lot of harm.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Wow. Pure emotion.
It's on the ground. Should we call somebody? I don't know, because it's on the ground.
Right there, I'm pretty sure, by the lake stop.
It is on the ground.
Wow. This is mad. How quickly.
Look at it turning in.
You saw how quickly it formed? It literally took seconds. Seconds. Wow.
Just something big.
This
The
is
tornado
crazy.
continues to increase its size and strength as it tracks over rural farmland. The tornado initially moved northeast and then turned to the north, then northwest, before coming to an almost complete stop and eventually moving back off to the northeast. Meanwhile, Arlen Wilkie, who is just 3 miles to the northeast of Sunderman, also spots the approaching twister and begins to record as well. The tornado, which has been moving slowly and erratically, continues to grow in size to 1/4 of a mile wide.
Look how thick this tornado is. It's so thick you cannot see through it, and it's just like massive, massive.
And Lucy's. It looks like it's heading to Jerry Arnie's place.
Wow.
Lucy's,
It
that
just
area.
destroys
Dog
everything.
Nothing left of them trees. Is that the long branch?
Where are you at home?
Did it touch down?
Yes. We're standing in
Wow.
front of our house. In front of my house.
As Arlen is recording, the tornado is inflicting some of its first damage on a few farmhouses to his east.
Arlen is here at my place. Nobody's at his place. I think it's east of his place. It's right into Irma Rickards about.
Watch your car.
Right even east of that. It's hard to tell.
Watch your car. Watch Ruben's house.
Sounds like a freight train from my house.
Tell Todd we got it on video.
We got it on video from right here. We're just about to see a house disappear, I think.
It's on the other side of Ruben. It's on the other side.
It's on the other side now. I went past Irma's house and we can still see Irma's house. So it's somewhere on the other side of Irma Rickards' house. I didn't touch it.
Oh
I
my
know it's
gosh,
Irma
it,
Rickards.
it became even bigger. My goodness. Maybe because they are filming much closer and that's why it became bigger, but my gosh, this is unstoppable force of nature.
Get some people over to Lucy's in that area.
Wow.
Tell Arnold.
So powerful.
It went right through Arnie's place and it's ow!
See over east of Irma Rickards.
Get that. I want that as a souvenir. Right there.
Jerry Arnie's place had to be hit, I would think. I don't know.
Wow.
And maybe Long Branch.
There's a huge one down there.
Long Branch.
Yeah, I ain't going out there either.
While the tornado
is
is passing to
incredible, man.
Arlen's east, it's heading directly towards Andy Ulmer, who is about 5 miles further to the northeast.
Come on, you mean nobody has to come here reading?
Look at the swirls.
I know it.
Andy has just arrived home from the airport and was in the process of changing clothes when he noticed the tornado out of his window, and he also begins to record.
Look at the little one. Look
yeah.
at the little one.
Right there.
Oh.
Whole bunch of little ones.
It looks like those little ones are joining the big one to have like a tornado party or something like that. That's kind of mad.
Morning? Oh my God.
Is it expensive to insure your house in states where tornadoes are happening? Or how does it work? Does anybody know who's watching me? If yes, please let me know in comment section. I'm really curious.
I think it's good.
What?
Which way is it going? Is it coming this way?
It was just sitting there.
Well, it may look like it's sitting there.
He mentions in the video that the tornado doesn't seem to be moving, which is a telltale sign that it's coming directly at you. For instance, if you look at the left edge of the tornado and use the tree line as a reference point, it's not moving left or right, which means it's coming directly at them.
Ah.
Meanwhile, back at Arlen's location, the tornado passed directly to his east and now has an audible roar heard on the video.
Bomb ranch must have destroyed it.
What'd you say, Paul?
Go get that big hailstorm.
I was talking
The
to
baseball
Jeff
size
Rose, the
one.
bomb ranch. He said everybody's okay there. Did it hit there?
Sounded like it.
The tornado impacted some of his neighbors' houses down the road, but luckily they avoided a direct hit and the property sustained only moderate damage. The tornado continues on its northeast track directly towards the Ulmer residence. Even though the tornado is still a few miles away from his location, you can now hear the audible roar of the tornado on his video as well, indicating that this is likely a violent tornado.
Hope we got insurance paid up, dear.
Oh yeah.
There's some damn big hailstorms coming down.
Hi. Come on, Andy.
Yeah, I can hear the wind.
Good.
Scary.
Whoa. That is definitely...
Now?
No,
Huh?
that's their tornado.
They call it Hellstorm. Well, in kinda way it makes sense because it destroys everything and like literally you can call it a hell.
Boys. Shit.
This is the moment where he understands if the storm comes their way, it probably will destroy their house and they will have to build another house. And that's very messed up. That's really messed up.
Come on, Andy.
It ain't.
Go real fast. That's good. Come on, Andy.
See this thing.
Andy's wife Susan very understandably begins to try and convince him to put the video camera down and to seek shelter in the basement, but he can't take his eyes off of it.
Wow. I feel the might of this tornado while just watching. It's like so big.
After a few more minutes of recording, Andy finally begins to realize the danger, but remembers that he was in the midst of changing clothes when he began to record. He then proceeds to utter one of the funniest and most iconic lines ever from a tornado video.
Susan, get my pants.
Once Andy puts all of his clothes back on,
Susan,
he
get my
obliges to his
pants.
wife's request and stops recording to take shelter.
Yeah, I'm getting in.
However, just a minute or so later, Andy changes his mind and once again goes to the door to record again. As if the tornado could not get any more visually impressive, it begins to instantaneously change its form from a wedge to a traditional rope tornado.
So it's like dying or something like ooh! You can see smaller tornadoes inside. It's becoming smaller.
And then, in another instance, it's gone.
Oh, what? Are you kidding me, man? He got so lucky, man. I just don't kind of understand like why he didn't run and why he decided to film it till the end. Maybe he had this deep belief that this somehow will turn out in a good way, which it did. Man, like this dude is born lucky, literally lucky.
Andy once again heads downstairs to seek shelter. When Andy once again returns upstairs to record some more, he finds that the tornado has dropped once again as a rope.
Oh wow, what a comeback. This is
However,
crazy.
by some miracle, the tornado made an abrupt and hard turn to the west and somehow missed their farm. While Andy is recording the tornado in
Wow.
its final stages from right under it, Arlen and Kent are filming it from miles away to the southwest in much safer spots. Back at the Ulmer residence, though, Andy records the last seconds of the tornado's life as it actually turns back to the east after passing by the farm. Eventually, though, the rope finally dissipates. After this tornado lifted, the storm continued traveling northeast, and it would produce another 4 tornadoes over the course of the next 2.5 hours. I couldn't really find any other information on these additional tornadoes. In fact, information and damage pictures from the main tornado are also very scarce. Ultimately, though, the main tornado was rated as an F2, with estimated wind speeds between 113 and 157 miles per hour.
So F5 is the biggest tornado, as I understand. F2 is like the medium one.
This tornado was almost certainly much stronger than the official rating suggests. However, since it mainly stayed over open fields, F2 damage was the highest that surveyors found. The Columbus, Nebraska tornado of 1998 is another classic example of the limitations of tornado ratings, as this one was almost certainly stronger than the assigned
Wow.
rating. But luckily though for locals, it mainly stayed over open fields, causing us in all likelihood to never know how truly powerful it was.
It's hard to believe that there is such a thing as tornadoes happening when you have never seen it. Here in Europe, in Eastern Europe, we have some storms some of the time, we have some blizzards, but nothing much, nothing that compares with the tornadoes and other blizzards you have in America. Here in my country, we are blessed with the nature and we don't have any big problems if you compare it to America, American nature, you know. So that's another thing to be grateful for. So yeah, I mean, hopefully there won't be tornadoes on Europe soil. But Americans, all due respect for holding on, fighting off those tornadoes, and still living in the places where tornadoes is happening shows their resilience also. So yeah, okay, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell for notification, hype the video, and see you in next reaction videos. Bye.